Just have to mute it on the YouTube side. So it's just setting it up right now.
Okay, I did so that I am big and you're small. So if you give me some hand
Mhm.
signals, I might not see it.
No,
So
you should be good.
let's see, what's our word if you really need me to change something or
Oh, I think we're live. Yay! Okay, so no, you look amazing. Hi, Iha. It's so good to have you here, and we're going to chat all about your amazing, gorgeous brand, which Viking Beauty Secrets, which is not going to be a secret anymore. We're gonna share it out.
Thank you so much, Lynn, for inviting me to be part of the Power Beauty collab. And I really am so thankful that Viking Beauty Secrets are now also discovered in America.
I know, me too. It's such a good brand and product, and I think you've done such a wonderful job in your formulations, and everything really. It's a very well put together story and brand, and I think we're gonna though go. We're gonna dial it back a little, and I want to kind of get to the beginning of what inspired you to even create this, because as we both know, being an entrepreneur is so hard. And people kind of have this unrealistic expectation sometimes that, oh, you just launch something and put it out there, and we know it's a lot of work. So you must have had some very compelling idea that you really wanted to do.
Yes, so I am from Estonia. Estonia is like Northern Europe and natural, organic. I mean, that is
Yeah,
normal for us. That is just normal. We don't even think about it. We don't think like,
yeah,
oh, that is natural because basically that's like expected.
yeah.
So when I was 18, I had an opportunity to come to America for actually a beauty contest. And I did very well and I started modeling. However, when I finally settled in New York and I started eating the New York food
Mm,
and consuming the New York, American beauty products, and especially when
mm.
I was a model and actress, there was a lot of makeup, a makeup
Yeah,
that you wear for like, 14 hours a day. And
and
my
thick.
skin, my
Yeah.
skin became a disaster. And
Mm.
not only my skin, but also my health. I remember the first winter that I was living in New York, I was on antibiotics 3 times that winter. It
Oh
was
my gosh.
absolute disaster. I couldn't work. And then one of my girlfriends, she's very much into this kind of, let's go to natural food market and let's, drink wheatgrass and all of those things. And she was like, no, no, you have to change. I mean, I was, of course, drinking Diet Coke and eating all these normal things that, people do in America. So she was like, no, no, you gotta change. You gotta like pay attention. And I learned already early on, I learned how many harmful chemicals are in the food and in the makeup and in the skincare sold in America. And yes, thanks to you and recent years, a little bit of movement has been made towards that to at least awareness. But I'm talking like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, people didn't talk about it because all the big cosmetic companies, Revlon and all of those, they were selling all those harmful chemicals and nobody was asking any questions. Or if they were, nobody heard about it. So I started going, when I go back to my country, I would bring half a suitcase of these natural products from my country. But really, already early, 10 years before I did my company, I was kind of starting to think like, okay, I really have now learned so much about these ingredients. I know what works for me and also my girlfriends. And some of these ingredients were not even and still are really not readily available in America, like the Nordic berries, the
Ah,
cloudberries, the sea
yeah.
buckthorn, the rowan berries.
Yeah.
So I started to think, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if I could somehow figure it out to like make my own brand? And of course, it seemed impossible dream. But then again, America is a land of dreams and opportunities. So I started, I believe in serendipity. You kind of like put your thoughts to that way, you pay attention, you look for opportunities, and then eventually, which is about 6 years ago, I did the big step and filed my company and the trademark and all that, and started with one product first, the best take care of it all product, which was my night cream. So that's how it kind of started. And I must say that really throughout this 20 years, I have very much studied, and I went to university later and all that, but I really studied, learned, tried a trial and error of a clean skincare, if you will, and
Mm.
natural products. And I am today I'm 54, I guess I just turned 54. So I think it works.
Yes, you look gorgeous. So it definitely has worked. So there's so many parts of your story that I find just really very interesting. I mean, first you hit on the issue in the US, and here I'm in Italy right now, and
Ooh.
yeah, and it's true. The food is so much fresher and cleaner and just healthier. Now, of course, I'm eating more, so calories are calories, but there's that. But and the products, you're right. Like, you know, I don't know if most people realize that how many are banned in the EU? It's like 1,300, right?
Right. No, no, yeah. So in European Union, even if we forget about the organic certification,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
the regular skincare, there are about 1,300 harmful
Yep.
chemicals banned from, companies using in a skincare. Now, in comparison, America has banned about 30. And when we are looking into this kind
Shocking.
of certain, like, I don't know, Whole Foods or Creda or so, they are like, wow, we have banned like 100. Well, I'm sorry, but it is still a long way from what European Union has, long figured out. But that's the thing, like I said, the big companies have run the industry for decades, and, changes are difficult.
Yeah, and they're not invested in making the change because they still use a lot of those ingredients, which we know are much cheaper than what we're putting
Absolutely.
in our products, which are these very natural and a lot of times not, I don't want to say rare ingredients. I want you to talk about your berries, which you mentioned, which I think are super interesting, but like they're not common ingredients. And so we have to source them ethically. We have to import them. I have my macabu powder. You've got your berries, like those things. Sometimes when people ask me, like, why is your product so expensive? Well, because we use really, really good stuff. And when you use such high quality ingredients, you also don't need to use as much product because the product performs really well. So it's actually, from a value perspective, very good.
Right. And if we think about it, we're actually really not expensive. I mean,
Right.
because now it depends what you compare yourself to, right? If you compare yourself to the Walgreens or Marshalls products, then perhaps we're a little bit more expensive. However, if you compare to anything in Saks Fifth Avenue or Bloomingdale's or even most things in Macy's, then we are actually less expensive. And in our case, you
Exactly.
get certified organic product. But also another thing I really want to mention, which it's shocking to me that still in America is allowed. For example,
Mm.
and as a small company, it's so difficult to deal with it, but I feel proud that we are doing it. We are certified organic. And what happens is that when you buy in America a product from Marshalls, let's say,
Yeah.
you are so excited. Oh my God, this is 50% off. I got this thing from, I don't know, a Bobby Brown or whoever it is. And it's like 50% off. Oh my God, I had to buy it and I have to use it. There is no expiration date. There is no
Ah,
Best Buy. There's
yeah.
no, both Best Buy. You have no idea if this thing has expired 5 years ago and they just dumped the excess for like,
Which I think a lot of them
pennies.
are.
And
I
people are
think,
using it. And
yeah.
then people are surprised, why am I getting all these problems with my skin? But, let's not forget we absorbed 30% of what we put on our skin, we absorb into our body, right? So,
Yeah.
especially as a woman, when we wear makeup or whatever, skincare and all that, all these tiny little particles, those extra little harmful chemicals, they kind of little by little, get into our bloodstream and into our body, and we can't digest it, the same with the food. I always say it comes together. Food,
Hmm.
skincare, makeup, it all comes together because we are absorbing it into our skin, into our
Yeah.
bloodstream. So I can tell you that, I am just absolutely shocked how many cases, like in America, there's people have colon cancer. I mean, many people, like I had to go through the testing and all. I'm like, wow, 50 years old, why do I do that? My mom is 94, she doesn't have problems, but she
Wow.
lives in Estonia. I don't
Yeah.
have anybody. I'm sure there are some people, but I have not, honestly, I have not heard anybody in my relatives, friends, anybody that I've seen or even in the newspapers, you know, colon cancer. It's just not really popular thing in at least Northern Europe, at least in Estonia. And in America, it happens, but you think about it, all these tiny little things get stuck in your body, not digesting, and then decades later, let's not imagine what they've grown into. So there you go.
Oh,
I think
that's
it's
super
very
interesting.
important
And
for people to read labels and pay
oh,
attention.
so important. And I think that's a really interesting point you bring up about the colon cancer because I I, I wonder how much the US knows about these health trends and issues and doesn't really want to share, right? Because the problem in the US is that we have lobbyists who control a lot of the food and labeling and the ingredients and the fact that there's corn syrup and there's dyes and all this stuff. In Europe, it's
But then again, in US, 90%, 97% of corn has been genetically modified. Now you wonder, what is that genetic modification?
that's
And then
true
some,
too.
okay,
So
but
you're
let's
right.
not let's not go. I'm not getting into
I know
any
we could spend
politics.
hours talking about this because it's
I'm not doing
crazy.
that. I'm just bringing you
Yeah.
amazing European, clean, certified organic, amazing products for American
Okay.
women to share.
But let's then go into your products a little bit more and thank you for that because you're right. I can sometimes get so much to talk about. But let's talk about your hero ingredients, how you found them, and what was the first product you started with when you started thinking about creating your line?
Night cream. Night
Ah,
cream,
okay.
which is still, um, you know, like our how to say guarantee. I don't want to say guaranteed, but pretty much just if anybody's like, oh, I have a sensitive skin, even rosacea or some things like that,
Yeah.
eczema, I'm like, here's a night cream. First of all, it is so I learned a lot about it. It was like my, I don't want to say obsession, but it was like my true interest to really learn about all this. But again, I am not a scientist, so I went, and also to make products that last, and shipping and all the ingredients that you have to buy, the best ingredients, organic certified ingredients, it would cost millions to make a product then. So I found, where I'm from, I found the best laboratory. It's actually a female founded laboratory in
Oh,
Latvia.
cool.
And then now they went public, but they're very, very successful, very, very quality products, quality machinery, Swiss machinery. And I went to them and I said, okay, these are my ideas. These are my ingredients, my Nordic berries, which is why I also named it Viking Beauty Secrets, because it's the Viking berries. And I said, can you, like in your laboratory with the testing and all this stuff, can we do this? And they did. They believed in me, and I'm very excited about it. And yes, so the first thing was night cream, and of course I was, I if you're like dreaming and I'm like, okay, I want it best. And I said, okay, I don't want it water-based, I want it aloe-based, because it was really more for healing. I believe that nighttime is very important, that you don't
Mhm.
need a million products, but you just put one product and you put it on and you wake up, you're refreshed. While you're
Yeah.
sleeping, the cream helps your skin cells to renew, to refresh, to like, it's aloe base, and then it has the Nordic berries, the cloudberry, the sea buckthorn, the rowan
Mhm.
berry, and also chamomile. Because see, I grew up in Estonia and I have a garden, and then I lived with my grandmother in the summers, and all this chamomile was always like, oh, your eyes are, whatever is wrong with eyes, you put chamomile. And whatever was, burn yourself or anything, he's like, okay, aloe you put on. It's like most skin problems, even when we talk about rosacea, eczema. Again, I'm not a doctor, but in general, all the problems they start with inflammation. Inflammation. So if you bring the inflammation down with soothing, calming ingredients like aloe and chamomile, and then you add the super berries, which are like super vitamin potent berries, then you really are feeding your skin rather than stripping it down with harmful chemicals. And that's kind of the idea.
Interesting, because it's literally like the opposite of what people kind of do. And also think about the harsh chemicals that people put on when they think they need, they have damage or they have rosacea or they have acne or whatever. The solution here in the US is usually chemicals. And
Yeah, and
that's,
a chemical, even water is chemical, but again, I say harmful chemicals, yes.
yeah,
And a lot
yes,
of the times those it depends. If somebody's, works with a doctor and they have a solution, that's wonderful. I'm talking about maybe, simpler cases, which
yeah.
is not like doctor prescription involved. So in a simpler cases, there's a lot you can do with natural ingredients. And yes, I believe aloe, chamomile, cloudberries, rowanberry actually is anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial. Now, I can't put it on a box because that means, medical term,
Yeah.
but actually anybody can Google it, and it is really the super berry. It's super red. It's like a red berry, and
Mm.
it's in the trees. It grows, and it's just super potent. I mean, I feel like I'm trying to at least have this Nordic berries coming, wave of coming, but I there's not too many companies using them because I know that when
That's
I was
okay. You can own it and I mean, that's good because if everyone
yeah,
had
well.
it, then, you know,
There was this time I remember I was in New York and I was like, "Oh, everything has to be acai berry." Everybody was drinking it, using it,
I do
putting it
remember.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Then it was like koji berry. Oh, new berry.
Yeah.
And then, obviously there was hemp for a while. And I feel like now it's time for Nordic berries, the
I
Viking
love that. I mean, why not? It is time. And you're right. Things seem to be trending and cyclical. I feel
Yeah.
like mushrooms are really in right now. Like there's a lot of, but yeah. Now I'm curious when you were growing up, and I'm picturing this idyllic land because I think it's really is. What did your grandmother and did your mother did you do a lot of what I would call kitchen logic, like using a lot of ingredients and things to
Oh,
cure things?
yeah. Now,
Yeah.
I personally wasn't doing it as much. I was usually just being the help. But my grandmother lived in an island between Estonia and
Oh,
Sweden. And that's like, yeah,
gorgeous.
most, I mean, over half the food that we consumed came from, our land, like, potatoes and all the vegetables and oh my God, tomatoes. Like my mom is now
Mm.
94 and she still has a little, now it's half the size, but it has a tomato in a greenhouse and all this stuff. And you know what? They're the best. They're the best because they're so tasty. There's nobody spraying anything on them.
Oh,
They're just like you go there and you like, maybe you just take it and eat it. I mean, it's like amazing.
oh,
And
that
it makes
sounds
a difference. That was also something that about 10 years ago, when my mom was, let's say like about 85, 86, I was like, how does she have great skin? How
yeah.
does she have great skin, rosy cheeks? And even sometimes I was falling apart. And I'm like, and then I realized, yeah, because she eats her potatoes, she eats her greenhouse. She doesn't have all this, you know, I don't want to say any bad word, but all this stuff
Well,
that you buy in
but there
America.
is a lot, unfortunately. No, it's a really good point and a good reminder for people to really think about what you're putting in and on your body. And you talked about it earlier, but read the ingredient label, do your research, and you don't have to know everything, but just even the basics, even to stay away from the basics.
And there
Okay, so
are so many, like someone like you has done really incredible thing that you have brought together the female founders and the brands that really care because we have spent a lot of money to make sure that this is clean, this is organic, this is, amazing ingredients, clean ingredients, and sustainable. And you have brought us together and help us kind of get our message to the public and also let the public discover us and know that we exist. But there are more and more this kind of I guess, for lack of a better word, clean products out there that people can choose. And people really can choose, and it is not necessarily about the money. I mean, I have women that I used to use this very expensive $200 creams, and then when I try my night cream, they switch, you know?
I love
So
that.
they're like, I don't have to. I can pay $40. I don't have to pay,
Yeah.
$200.
So
So,
to your point about cost earlier, like it's really relatively, and it's not expensive when you think of the ingredients, the quality, and then when you compare it to other premium skincare in the US, it's
oh, yeah, we're
actually
not the
like,
premium price. No.
yeah,
I mean, people tell me that I should have made it more expensive, and I probably should have. I just was trying to, I guess, be humble and hope that, people, if they can afford to try it, then I know
they'll
they'll
love
buy
it.
it.
Yeah, and you'll get them
So
hooked. I mean,
that,
it's,
you know.
so okay. Now do you have a partner? Do you do all this on your own? How does that work?
Well, first of all, I must say that really nobody can do it alone.
I know.
I was very, how to say, naive, and I was like, oh, yes, I can handle it. Like, and that's all good. And most founders do a lot themselves. I mean, we are like usually, I mean, it's quite normal that the founder works like 5 jobs and
Yeah,
doesn't get paid, right?
right.
That's kind of the crazy thing about it, and we believe in it, and that's what we do. But definitely, you need somebody with a sense of business, unless you are yourself amazing accountant, which I was not. I was very
Me
optimistic
neither.
always about the costs and things, and yeah, don't get me started. But
Mhm.
so I am, first of all, very lucky that I have a husband who's in finances. So he he checks,
Ooh,
and he from the beginning started checking my books and making sure.
yeah.
And then I also had a girlfriend who's accountant, because you do need. There is so much paperwork. I don't like paperwork. I love the creative part. I like the design. I've actually designed all of these boxes myself, even
Oh,
the logo and everything. The whole
okay.
creative
Wait,
process,
wait.
I
Pause
love
for a
it.
second and do a close up of that logo. I didn't know that you did that yourself. Just,
Oh yeah.
oh, look at that. That is awesome.
But this actually is a Viking, a Nordic ruin, which is means symbols that they used as letters, and not just letters, but meanings, right? So this is a symbol that I chose, which it's not just random, it's just not
Yeah.
random scribble. It actually has in it, and it exists like this together. But if you take it apart, it has fertility, awakening, like a awake of the day. Um, and longevity. So
Oh, love
I
that.
loved what it means, like parts of it together, and
Yeah.
then
And it
then
looks super cool.
and I like that it's symmetrical. So
Yep.
I was just like, wow, that's my symbol.
And
That
that's also I'm a big fan of creating like a visual like shortcut symbol type thing. Like we have our M just as a way for people to connect, right? Because it's so hard to get people's attention these days, and that's a cue that hopefully they can start to recognize. But it's well done, and I didn't know you did your own packaging. That's super
Yeah, well,
good.
I designed, but then yeah, obviously it's a place to print it. But also, again, sustainability. We have this sign here. Oops, I don't know if you can see. Yeah. So that
Yep.
sign is a forest. Is a symbol that says that these materials that have been used for the box are already recycled materials turned into the box material. So we don't just say like, oh, please go recycle our box. We have used recycled materials to make the box. And then, of course, we hope that you also go and recycle it.
And then your products are also in glass, which is great as well
Yes, so
because,
glass
yep.
bottles, not plastic, because oh yes, I have another partner that she kind of came right away. Is a girlfriend of mine who is a professional, how to say, I don't want to just say mermaid, but she's like a absolute advocate for sustainability. She's the ambassador of the World Cleanup Day. She's all of that. So she became my head of sustainability,
Ah,
helping me to
cool.
find like a sustainable tubes and stuff. So Merla the mermaid, she's also the partner in the business, and she started first like as a main, how to say, influencer or something, right? Ambassador. And then she became more and more involved, passionate about the product. First of all, the night cream, because when she's done 5 Guinness World Records, bringing awareness for the plastic and pollution in the oceans.
Oh, wow. What does she
Yeah.
do?
Well,
How,
last
what
time
record?
it became bigger and bigger, and the last time
Yeah.
she swam 26 miles, which is 50 kilometers, without using her arms and with her mermaid tail. So she was like
Oh
doing
my
like this.
God, that's crazy.
14 hours. It's unhuman. But she's a beautiful, beautiful human being and
Wow.
beautiful girl. And she what happens is that first time we started, she has started using my product because when she did the first record, I think it was 10 kilometers, like after being in the water so long, it's like her skin literally came off. It was pretty scary.
Oh,
And then she was
interesting.
using my night cream to kind of heal it, like I say, aloe base and
Yeah.
that. And then also the scrub after, after the first couple of days later, then she used the scrub, which is amazing because the scrub really, it's an oil base, but it's made with Icelandic volcanic sand
Oh,
and it's a first oil base, so she would put it on, and then the rough skin and like the pieces of skin would come off, and then
mm.
you heal it with a night cream. So that's how it kind of started, and she's like really got involved and loves the brand. And I said, you know what, you should be a partner, and then she became a partner, and
What a
now
great
she's our head of
story. And
sustainability. Yeah,
and it's like she's torture testing your products in a way like
I
that is
know.
extreme. I mean, that's cool. Okay, and so you've got your night cream, you've got your scrub. What are your other products?
Well, of course, we have a day cream, very, very lovely day cream. Um, and that is, they're all kind of, how to say, I mean, they're light. They go
Yeah.
in to the skin really like, very kind of, I don't know if you can see, but it's kind of like,
Yeah,
boop,
it
just
absorbs
goes
in
in,
really
right?
nicely.
And then what happens is that I was like right now I'm here, it's summertime, I'm glowing. But in a winter, let me tell you, especially if I go to Estonia or Europe or New York, this when there's like a central heat, oh my God, my skin gets so dry.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people's skin gets very dry. So I was like, we need oil. We need oil. And now we have this most gorgeous oil. I really can say that. Look at this color. There's
It's
no
beautiful.
artificial coloring. Look at this
Yeah, that's
beautiful,
beautiful.
because the sea buckthorn is that color. So this is
Ah,
main, well, sea buckthorn, the berries, but there's many berries here. This is a bigger size and also smaller size. It is, I tell you, I'll just put a little bit here on, I don't know if you can see on
mm.
my skin, but you can see how it's just like, mm, you see? And then you
Yep.
just like, oh, let me tell you,
Oh,
put it.
wow. And it doesn't look greasy at all.
No,
It goes right
exactly.
in.
I hate oils that grease.
Mm.
This is just like it goes
And
in
your
and just like
skin is literally glowing. Like
it
that
is
side
called
of your
glow
face.
oil. It is called, yeah, glow nourishing whatever oil. It's just it feeds your skin. And right now it's like, okay, in the summer in general, you don't put it in the morning and go in the sun because you don't want to cook.
Yeah.
But winter, it's like I wish I could swim in it because it's
Oh,
just like your skin just like eats it up. It is so amazing. It has sea buckthorn, cloudberry, it has plum oil, it has actually also avocado oil. It has evening primrose. I mean, it is really like just, and then of course, let's not forget everything, sorry, everything we put on our skin, we have to put on our neck.
I know.
That
My
is,
neck is so,
a lot of women don't think about it, but please do. Because to me, this is my face. This is my face.
yeah.
It is not, you see a lot of this. Face, everybody takes care of the face, and then skin is wrinkly. No.
Mm.
You cannot abandon your skin on the neck because there's nowhere to go. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you don't want to do, I mean, even a surgery, you could see it, right? So you
Yeah.
just have to take care of it. You have to massage it. You have to put the skin, night cream, you put a little bit there too. Anyway, usually something is left over on your fingertips. Put
Mm.
it in your skin,
Rub it in.
and oil. Oh my God, oil is must for the skin. For ladies,
Mhm.
it is just men, everybody. It is a must.
So if you could give a skincare tip to somebody who maybe is using a lot of mass products, not really sure how to start, you know, changing up the routine, what would you suggest?
Well, I would suggest, first of all, you don't need to use a lot of products.
Mm.
Personally, I don't believe in that 7 step, 10 step thing because especially after shower, if my pores are open, I make a choice. Do I put a cream? Do I put an oil? Depends how dry it is, right? And then I let it soak in. Do not put like oil and a cream and something else on top of it. And it's like you clog your pores. And also, most important thing is you want your skin to become the best version of itself. You don't want to cover it up. You don't want to just like, because that's temporary. Maybe one time you're going to go
Yeah.
out in the evening to a big event. Yes, put whatever you need to do. But in on day-to-day basis, no. Pick just a few things and let it breathe. Let the skin breathe. Let the skin heal. Because if you look at ladies who are in general, or let's say 80-year-olds, you see how thin, crepey skin,
Ah,
wrinkled? It's
yeah.
thin. There's nothing left of it. That's what happens to our skin when we age, you know? Yeah. And the thing is that for to make sure that it's happens later rather than sooner, we want to feed our skin. We want our skin to have those vitamins to fight the barriers, to fight the free radical damage, to blossom, to be useful. If you look at the in general, right, 20-year-old woman, oh, she's glowing, she has nice skin, it's plump, naturally. But then when you look at 80, okay, it's wrinkly, it's thin, it's,
Yeah.
crepey. Well, that's why we have to feed our skin with amazing ingredients, you
Oh
know?
my God, it's so smart. And it makes a lot of sense if you think about the fact also that your skin is kind of living, right? And it's
Yes,
regenerating all the time. And
exactly.
so,
Let's not forget that. This is not just a thing we cover up.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
something that needs to live and breathe. That's why I say breathe. Don't clog the pores with three products top of each other. I mean, yes, if you put the makeup a little bit, but for example, I absolutely always mix here's the day cream and here is my foundation, and you
oh,
mix it
yep, that's a great
together.
idea.
You mix it together. Ours happens to mix greatly with
Yeah,
any
that's
foundation.
beautiful.
That's kind of part of why makeup artists love it. And then you put it together. You put it together. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
now you put it together. I can't see. But in
No,
general,
it,
that's what I
it
do.
literally just went right in. It's great.
It's like a
Yeah,
light coverage, but a little better than natural. But now you're kind of putting the vitamins and the foundation, and it's alive. It's not
yeah,
like, ooh,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
No,
It's
it's
better
so,
that
I
way.
love it. It's so great. And so, okay, so what is on your mind in terms of like, what do you want to create next? Or what are you
Well,
focused on
oh
for
yeah,
this
we
year? Maybe
do.
we'll
We
talk
are
about that.
working on some things. First of all, people have like our scrub. I've mentioned it's amazing. People have asked, "Can I use it on my body?" I'm like, "Yeah, but it's kind of like, it's small."
Mm.
So you don't want to run
Yeah,
out of it. So we are coming out with a scrub, a little bigger version, slightly different, which is also for the body. That
great.
should come up end of the summer. So it will be available. And then also I have makeup remover coming up, which is also again sea buckthorn. I mean, funny, I want to take a little moment I don't know if you can see, but in this is actually the Viking Beauty office. Um,
Love
home
it.
office, and here
Yeah.
on my wall, look at
Oh,
that.
that's perfect. Look at that.
These are the berries. Let me talk to you about the berries. It's
Yes,
literally on the
please.
wall. So look at like a rowan berry, right? I don't know if you can read, but
Yes.
it's an amazing vitamin C, antioxidant, all of these things, fights free radicals. It's anti-inflammatory. Look at that last line. That is the rowan berry.
That's
Then
fantastic.
we have this amazing sea buckthorn. It is only plant in the world that has all four omegas, omega 3, 6, 7, 8,
Huh.
9. Sorry. So it is
I did not
literally
know that.
like powerhouse boosting. So I try to use it in every product, really. And then we have cloudberries, which are from Finland. Finland.
Oh,
A little bit more yellower. I don't know, the picture looks a little red, but they're
yeah,
more
they
yellow.
kind of look like lingonberries a little. No, I can't really see.
And
Oh, no, they're,
lingonberries are really red. These are cloudberries.
yeah.
They should be even a little bit more yellow, but they're incredible berry. They have, I think, oh, many times more vitamin C than there's my Northern Sea painting.
Beautiful.
So, Yeah, and then the cloudberries have many times more vitamin C than like oranges. It is a powerhouse of vitamins. And if you think about the cloudberries are really, really adorable because they're one flower comes up and that one flower turns to one berry. They're very rare and they're
Mm.
in a northern like yeah like Finland um and then um and then they survive the winter like maybe minus 40 degrees in a Finland in this cold winter they survive and then they come up in a spring they have the flower then they turn into this berry and in a summer when it's white nights which is like right now is a white nights the midsummer right then they just soak up all this sun and in the
Mm.
end of the summer you harvest them and they're just like superpower you
Do
know.
people eat them?
Yes, they make jam, but honestly,
Wow.
there's not that much available. So
Yeah,
if
because it
if
sounds like
you
they only
see,
grow in a very specific place.
well, if you see somewhere like Nordic shops or something, and they have cloudberry jam, please take it, take it,
Get it?
eat
Yeah.
it. It's amazing thing for our bodies.
Oh my God, what a wonderful story. Well, okay, this has been fascinating, and I love hearing all about how you've created it and what's in it and your line, and it is truly amazing. So, anyone out there who's thinking about changing up skincare, really take a look at Viking Beauty Secrets. I think you will not be disappointed at all.
No,
Plus, you
and
can also buy Viking Beauty Secrets online,
yes,
vikingbeautysecrets.com, right?
yes, and use the code Viking Beauty for 20% off.
Oh, perfect. We even have a code, and I'll put that in the notes for
Yeah.
YouTube so people will have that code. Thank you.
Mhm.
And then, of course, you can also find her in Miami at Verde Market.
Yes, and
There are
your
three
Power
locations.
Power Beauty Collective
Beauty
has now
Collab.
a
Yep.
website, right?
Yep. And then also at Collagen Bar, New York City.
Yes, yes.
So really, you have no excuse. You got to try it out. So thank you so much, Iha, for sharing your story. It was really an
Oh,
incredible story and beautiful products. And I really hope people take your wisdom and take your advice and take your insights and take your learning and all the things you shared and really do what she's saying, which is, if you don't want to try our products, fine, but like think about what you're putting in and on your body, regardless, and start to look at your ingredient labels and start to look at the makeup and start to look at what you're putting in your scrub and all these different products, because I guarantee you'll be shocked.
you're
Um,
gonna see a difference and and you're gonna appreciate it. And we should, as hopefully we'll live longer these days, we have to take care of our
yeah.
skin better.
Oh my gosh, such truth.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and I will
Cool.
see you soon.
Thank you so much, Lynn.